WGPR Detroit HD2.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit. The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
Thank you and welcome to the BTG Morning Show. I am your host, Keisha B, and it is a pleasure being here this morning. I have been gone for quite some time, and it's not because I wanted to, but I am happy to be back. I had my own bout with COVID, whoop whoop, but I'm okay. I'm doing well. So this morning, if you haven't gotten your pen and paper, please do so, because every morning on the BTG Morning Show, we always give community resources and different programs that's available to the residents of Wayne County, especially Highland Park. So this morning, I'm going to give a few of the programs that are available, and the first one will be the Wayne County Emergency Rental Assistance Program. And this does not include Detroit. So this includes Highland Park and also Hamtramck and also other cities within Wayne County. So if you don't have your pen and paper, please grab it now. With the Wayne County Emergency Rental Assistance Program, this program is for Wayne County who have been financially impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic and who are experiencing housing instability. You must contact the center at 833-742-1513 during regular business hours for immediate support regarding this program. The type of assistance that's available is for rent as well as for utilities. Now, utility assistance may include electricity, home heating, water, and sewer. Internet stipends and relocation assistance is also available. Renters and landlords can apply through their easy-to-use online application. If the application is approved, a notification will be sent via email. Now, when applications will be accepted, they are being accepted now, so this is the perfect time to put in an application to receive this assistance. Those who are eligible, you have to have a maximum annual income. If it's one person in a household, the max income is $44,800. For two people, $51,200. Three people, $57,600. All this information is available on the Wayne County website. Again, this is for the Wayne County Emergency Rental Assistance Program. Now, there is a program through Wayne Metro. Wayne Metro is actually assisting with tax preparation. Now, with the tax preparation program, there is free tax preparation. Everything is done. You can come in to their center or you can file virtually. You can actually reach out to Wayne Metro at 313-388-9799. There is no cost for the tax preparation services. This is available if COVID-19 pandemic has affected you, if you are a recipient of Social Security or the supplemental income, and your household income is under $57,000, you would be able to receive those services at no cost. Again, that is through Wayne Metro. The phone number for Wayne Metro is 313-388-9799, or you may call 734-284-6999. The other resource that is available, because I know even for myself, COVID-19 literally jacked me up with the pandemic, especially when it came to my credit, especially with being laid off work and so forth. So there's a lot of people that are experiencing the same thing. However, Green Path Financial Wellness, they are a free credit and debt counseling service. They have low cost for in-depth services as well, but they have 2 offices here in the Metro Detroit area. The Detroit office is located on Woodward at 2111 Woodward Avenue, Suite 906, in zip code 48201. They have in-person counseling hours, which is Mondays from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., Tuesday through Thursdays, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Fridays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now, this is a great way to kind of get back on track with your credit, to have someone pull your credit and see. It's always good to check your credit, make sure there's nothing on your credit that does not belong to you, and go through the necessary steps to get that off if there is. Now, with Green Path, you can reach them at 800-550-1961. Again, 800-550-1961. This is the free credit and debt counseling. It's a great opportunity, and this would be the perfect time to do so, especially knowing that we all have issues sometimes, especially I know for myself with the credit repair. There is the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. I had someone reach out and ask for that information, so I wanted to make sure that I gave it. DHS actually has different services available as well, especially for those who are looking for any type of assistance. You can apply for benefits online or by phone. So that's the perfect thing. You can do it online or by phone. You don't have to come into the office. And that phone number is 1-888-642-7434. Or you can go to www.michigan.gov// MI Bridges, and that is for the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. Also, there is another one that is available. You have the dental clinic, who have different programs available for those who may need dental work, and that location would be at 2051 West Grand Boulevard. It is open to the public. They are only open Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Their phone number is 313-961-3743. That is the number you call. You have to make an appointment. You cannot just show up. I'm telling you now, do not just show up, because they will not be able to take you. So please call to make an appointment on Wednesday, Thursday, and or Fridays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So those are the community resources that are available right now. This will get posted onto the BTG Morning Show Facebook page. And if you are following us on Instagram, we are on Instagram, so check us out on there. But the information will be posted online for those who need it. Also, if you need additional resources, please feel free to reach out to me. There is a lot of different programs that are available. And if you have access to the internet, all you have to do is type in the Community Resource Guide. Wayne County Community College District has a community resource guide that's available to anyone who goes online to retrieve it. A lot of the information that I did give is on this guide itself. And the guide is updated yearly. So this is something that you can always keep track of on a yearly basis and have for your own self, for your resources. So we are going to take a quick commercial break. I have my sister, Angelia Ross Collins, in, and I'm so excited to talk about spiritual health today. So I know that we went on a health binge. We talked about physical health, we talked about mental health, and today we're going to talk about spiritual health. So we will return right after these commercials.
tired of seeing young black men shooting at each other in this community, in this nation. I don't understand it. I grew up in a time when people wore white robes and they shot at black people. And now we see young black men wearing black hoodies shooting at black men and doing a much more effective job than the Klan ever thought about doing. I'm sick of it. Of course, the only thing I can do is shout it from here. No one seems to listen.
We're listening. You're watching Detroit's own WHPR TV. Detroit Live. It's up to us to make a difference. Have you ever wanted your own TV show? Have you dreamed of showcasing your talent for the world to see? Well, now you can. Have your own TV show. You can have your own 30-minute show. Not only will you be seen in the Detroit area, but you can be viewed worldwide. Be seen on WHPR Detroit Live, Comcast Cable Channel 91, on the web at TV33WHPR.com, with the TV33 app, on Roku, Google TV, Apple TV, and on Amazon Fire TV. Act now. Time slots are limited. Sign up today and get a free replay with the purchase of your time slot. For more information, call 313-868-6612. Visit our studios and receive a free TV interview to promote your business, church, or organization by appointment only.
Want to learn a new skill, a new trade? Stop overthinking and get in a career of professional wrestling. Come to my professional wrestling school at the Missile Dropkick Wrestling Academy at 2025 Middlebelt Road in Inkster, Michigan, 48141. Check out our website at mdwawrestling.com. Sign up today on the website and make your dreams happen.
And welcome back to the BTG Morning Show. I am your host, Keisha B. And I apologize. I'm gonna do this real live. I'm gonna do this live on TV. Now, Tim, I love you. I want you to know that. He was like, you were all in the wrong camera. My bad. Sorry, y'all. Love you. But I have a good friend of mine, my sister in Christ, Angelia Ross Collins, in studio with me today. And I'm so excited. She's quite nervous. So you guys got to kind of work with us today. I love her dearly, though. So we're going to talk about spiritual health today. We know that with all aspects of our being, we need to be healthy, and that is healthy in a physical state, healthy in a mental state. And with the COVID-19 pandemic, that has brought a lot of issues that we all face to the forefront, whether that's mental or physical, whether that we have become lazy or whatever the case may be. I know me. I will always throw myself under the bus. I got lazy. I got lazy physically. And I know for me, on a mental standpoint, it was kind of tough sometimes, you know, having to be away from family, not being able to get out and do the things that I like to do. However, I'm kind of introverted as well, so those days I did pretty well on some of them. But on a spiritual standpoint, COVID-19 can't affect us. And so I know that a few weeks ago we spoke on the mental health, and it kind of goes hand in hand with the spiritual health. So, Miss Angelia, it's so exciting to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
That's great. So you doing okay? You all right?
I am well. I'm okay. We'll get through this.
She's quite nervous. So you guys, again, work with this, all right?
Okay.
So in your opinion, as far as spiritual health, what does that really mean?
Well, when it comes to your spiritual health, that's about your connection with God. It's your purposeful life. It's being transcendent. It actually is a dimension of capacities with human beings. It's all about our relationship with the Father.
Okay.
A lot of people believe in something. Others believe in God. And spiritual health is when you build your relationship with God. Is when you begin to dig deep and communicate through prayer with the Father. And what that does is sometimes it strengthens individuals when they're going through things like COVID or health challenges or things naturally or physically, marriages, relationships, job loss. But when you have that solid spiritual health and foundation, what it does is it allows that person to communicate with somebody that they wouldn't normally communicate, which is God. They just kind of step away and start communicating and asking questions and seeking help. And it gives you that release. It calms you down. It kind of transcends you or transforms you in some aspects when you start seeing those things come to fruition, which you have sought.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So let me ask you. So would you say that spiritual health and religion is the same thing?
Well, okay. So religion, that's a practice.
Okay.
That's something that you choose to practice, right? No matter what religion you are, that's a practice. But with spiritual health, that's a connection. That's a connection that you have with a power that's greater than you. Religion is just following something that's preset. It's already in place. It's something that you go in, you pray, you praise, you worship, you do whatever. But when you have that spiritual health, that's something that's relation based, just like me and you. We have conversations. We discuss things. But this is discussing things with holy power, our Father God, our Creator.
Yeah.
So that right there is a different relationship. That's when you know that you've had a conversation only with God, and that when the result of that communication comes forth, you know that it was nobody but God, because there was nobody else in place to help you. So you know
Right.
that nobody could have brought you out of that current situation but God.
Yeah, I know for me, I've had a lot of situations that I've personally dealt with that I said, you know what, that couldn't have been nobody but God, because only
Right.
God really knew that situation.
Right.
And so I know I slacked in that area. I mean, I've had my ups and downs. I'm not even going to front. I've had my ups and downs. But I think that, like you said, that relationship and that connection to that higher power really helped me as far as making sure I didn't fall back too far.
Right.
I always tell people, I'm God's favorite. I'm the favorite daughter. But
Oh my God, my pastor says that all the time.
really,
She does.
I am God's favorite, and I know it. I know it, because it's been so many things, especially with COVID-19 and the pandemic, and being out of work, and even with just dealing with my family.
Right.
Seeing my family transition. I lost a lot of people due to COVID, and it was heart wrenching. It took a lot, and if it wasn't for that connection, I probably would have lost my mind. I'm not even gonna hold you up,
Right.
because if I count, I'm somewhere in the 20s of how many people I knew that passed away, including some family members. So it is kind of detrimental. So would you, how, in your opinion, how does mental health and spiritual health kind of intertwine? Because I know on a mental aspect, that's dealing with our own personality and our character. How do you feel that, how do you suppose that mental health and spiritual health intertwine in the two?
Well, okay, so mental health and spiritual health. Well, with mental health is more emotional. That's when you go into the psychological aspects of living or social well-being. It affects the way we think, the way we feel, the way we act, and it's determined on how we handle that stress and how it relates to other and our choices. Mental health is very important, intricate to everyone, but to build a healthier mental state, when you have that spirituality with it, sometimes those thoughts it's about the way we think. It's changing the way we think. When you get to spirituality, it's the way you think. It's renewing the mind. So when you go to the scripture, it says renewing the mind.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that kind of transforms our mental thoughts, because now we're not focused so much on a situation. We're giving that situation to a higher power. So we know how to transform our thoughts.
That's
So,
good.
if we're in the, oh, woe is me, opposed to, God, I know what I'm going through, but I know that I can get through it with you. Or, so it changed the way we think. It changes the way we think about ourselves, about our situation. It allows us to forgive in situations that we've been holding on to, because that can cripple you mentally too when you choose not to forgive. But when you choose to forgive, that releases a lot of burden and stress off of you. No matter what the situation is, if you choose to forgive, then that kind of changes the ramifications
Okay.
of that stress. In addition to, when you learn how to let go and let God. You ever heard that statement?
Yes,
Let
all the
go,
time.
let God. And it's harder to do. You know, a lot of people don't understand that. It's like, oh, just let go, let God, and everybody like, well, it's not that easy. Well, sometimes it can't actually be that easy. It's a choice.
Right.
It's
Right.
all about the choice that we make about the decision or the circumstance that's in front of us. So when you choose to forgive, when you choose to change, when you choose to acknowledge, I have a problem and I need to do something about this, that right there is the first step to becoming better.
You didn't hit on so many different things. I kind of want to I want to piggyback so bad, but I'm gonna stay in alignment with this. Oh God, you just opened up a, whew. Okay, so, all right. So with everything that's been going on, right? The pandemic, you have people that's job loss. You've had, employers that's been looking for employees, that's had to close businesses and so forth. Why do you feel that it is important to maintain a great spiritual well-being?
Okay, so when you experience loss, that's one of the most devastating things that can occur when you experience loss. But when you have a spiritual connection, even in loss, you can redirect and say, I know that I've lost this thing, this family member that was close to me and dear to my heart, but I know that with God, all things are still possible. So it starts a healing process to just still give it back to God. It's actually like taking that burden off your back and then placing it on to the Father's back. It's just like with parents, our children, they fall, they get hurt, so, they lose a pet, and there's that hurt
Right.
that we go through and we endure. But as a parent, we embrace that individual, that child, and we assure them that everything is going to be okay. So when we do the same thing spiritually, when we embrace the Father and we say to ourselves that, I'm giving this to you. This burden is too heavy for me to carry. I can't get through this without you. I need direction and guidance. When you
Yeah.
start talking it out with them, if it just gives you this release and this peace that exceeds our own understanding.
Whew. You know, I really agree with everything that you said, because again, like I said before, if it wasn't for me actually having that relationship with the stuff that I've been through with COVID, oh my God, like it's a heavy weight. It's definitely a heavy weight, and it's such a heavy burden. And what I did learn about myself, because self-evaluation is critical. Self-evaluation is critical. But what I learned about myself is that I picked up burdens that didn't belong to me. So
good.
even through dealing with COVID-19, I picked up burdens that didn't belong to me, because I'm trying to be everywhere at all times.
Right,
And
right.
I'm like, okay, I can't do it, you know. And God had told me something, and it really shook me. He said, how are you going to play God in other people's situations? And I had to kind of just was like, whoo, all right, let me digress and let me step back and let me take care of me. Let me get myself in alignment, and let me deal with my own spiritual well-being. But everything that you've mentioned is so pivotal. And I do believe that we all have to be mindful of our spiritual health. I think that it is the foundation that we stand on.
Yes.
Because if we don't have a solid foundation, anything else that we build on top will crumble, because that foundation is not solid. And what better way than to have a foundation that's founded on who you believe in,
Right.
your creator, your father, you know. And another thing is that God wants us to know him as Father. We're not meant to know him as Yahweh. We're not meant to know him as, you know, the destroyer or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He wants us to know him as the Father. And so that's something else that I had to learn over that time period. I'm telling you, like, it's been crazy for me on a mental note, a physical note, a spiritual note. It's just been insane. COVID-19 has brought a lot of things to the forefront. Woo! It's like, as I begin to think about it, I'm just kind of having all of these thoughts, because COVID happened right after my grandmother passed. And I never had an opportunity to really mourn her, now that I think about it.
Right.
You know, so it's a lot. Right. But we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to dive a little bit deeper into spiritual health. And we're going to also talk about, for those who don't necessarily believe in God, you know, how can they handle themselves on a spiritual note. So we will be back to the BTG Morning Show. I am your host, Keisha B, and we shall return right after these commercial breaks.
In the world of digital broadcasting, transmitters and exciters sometimes do this. If this happens when you're watching WHPR TV 33, please do this. Watch us on Fire Stick, Roku, Apple TV, Google TV, or TV33WHPR.com. Download the WHPR TV app, and we can also be heard on Amazon Echo. So remember, if you see this, you can do this and support the station that supports you.
Welcome back to the BCG Morning Show. I am your host, Keisha B. And in studio, I have my sister, Angelia Ross Collins. She is a great and dear friend of mine. She has helped me. She has pulled me through some of my toughest times. And she is such a great individual, and I love her to pieces. So I'm excited to have her here on the show.
I love you too.
But today we've been discussing spiritual health and the importance of it. And we're going to go into the next aspect of it. So we've already discussed spiritual health and religion. We know that it's not the same. We've talked about spiritual health and mental health and how they intertwine. And in your opinion, does your spirituality also affect the health decisions that we make as well?
Ooh, now that's a good question. Sometimes it can, because in spirituality, you really want to have a healthy body, because our body houses our soul, it houses our spirit. And so when you're not healthy, especially when you're taking on principalities of the earth, that's something even different. We
Yes.
wrestle not with flesh and blood, but with principalities in the earth. So when you're combating forces, if you're not healthy, you're going to already be lethargic when you're battling those things. It's going to be a mind game. It's going to make you tired. It's going to make your mind wander. So you have to be able to have a healthy body to combat that, those type of attacks.
Right.
People don't understand that a lot of times that when you're under attack, it's not really physical. It's more of a principality. That's why sometimes when you pray,
I get sleepy.
you get sleepy, because that sleep demon comes over you, because principalities of the earth don't want you to try to get rid of that. So
Right.
you get sleepy. But the thing about that is, when you are praying and when you are acknowledging God and when you are uplifting the Father, and you are healthy in addition to that, it helps you to fight off those spirits. Because
Right.
a lot of people don't like to think that way, but they're spirits.
Right.
And when you start praying, this will not invade my body. You're not welcome here. Cancer, and some people have gone into remission by truly believing that God can heal their body. So it's about your belief. The deeper the faith, the higher the return and the reward. It's just been proven time and time again, from the Bible days to current days. Those who truly tap into faith and they believe, even in your transition from Atlanta here,
Oh,
that right there took a leap of faith. You come back home with nothing, and then you have new vehicle, new television show, new job, and it was just all about stepping out on faith, and
Right.
trusting that God would change your current situation. And that's all that it is stepping out on faith and believing that God will change your current situation. And when you truly believe in your heart that no matter what's going on in your life, if you just press toward the mark of the higher calling, if you just press with faith, that eventually those things will come to pass. It might not come to pass right away, but if you continue the plight, eventually you'll get there. So it's just really about that. And it starts with physical health and spiritual health.
yeah, that's good. And I you was talking, and this came to mind. I don't know if my mama will. I'm pretty sure she don't mind me telling this story real quick. But so it deals with the health decisions, because my mama Carolyn, Mama, if you watching, I love you. I like to have fun on my show. But she actually had her bout with breast cancer, and she tells this story all the time. And she's a great, great woman of God, and she had her bout with breast cancer, and they wanted to give her a blood transfusion.
Okay.
Right? So this is on some super. I don't know if anybody watched the show or has watched the show Supernatural. It's one of my favorite shows. However, like this is on some supernatural stuff. So she's in there and she's telling them she doesn't want the blood transfusion because God had already told her he was going to heal her body, that she didn't need it, and so in actuality that kind of affected her health decisions, right? So she's in there, she's telling them, I don't want the blood transfusion. They're going to try and give it to her anyway.
Okay.
Because her blood count was so low. So they go, they send in a nurse, and mind you, my mom is laying in the bed, and she has her arm out. The other arm is off to the side, tucked away. And they go and they're setting up the blood transfusion. They have the whatever the pole is and the blood bag and everything, got the needle. So they go on, the nurse is sitting there going to put the needle in her arm. She puts the tape over it. And as the nurse is sitting there and she's trying to finish everything, the tape lifts off and the needle slides out her arm. And blood goes everywhere. The nurse runs up out the room. She's like screaming. She don't know what's going on. And my mama laying there like, I told y'all I ain't want no blood transfusion. But it's like stuff like that, when you have a relationship that's so deep with the Lord and he tells you, or he gives you insight to what he's going to do for you and your body and your health. And it creates an opportunity for the unbelievers to see. I think, and that's what I really loved about that story, was because some of them really didn't understand God, or they didn't have relationships with God. So when they experienced that, especially the nurse, she was tripped out she left that day. Like she was just so distraught. But it actually can affect her health decisions, because at that point, if you know that God says, I'm gonna heal your body, you don't need this, but you tell them that you don't want it, and then they do it anyway, God gonna show up and show out. Okay.
Yes, he will. Yes, he will. And that's the irony of things, because everybody's situation and testimony is different. So here it is, your mom is saying, I don't need it. I have a similar testimony. Whereas I was at Henry Ford Hospital, and same thing, same situation, same scenario. I'm not clotting, I'm losing blood, my blood count is low. And for me, actually, they had called in a priest and everything for my family to tell me goodbye.
Wow.
And for me, I was like, wait, look, nothing else. I'm going to lay here, I'm going to talk to my father, and whatever I hear, that's what it is. And so I just told everybody, don't say nothing else. I told my mother, don't cry. Don't say nothing else. Just hold on. And I laid there and I prayed and I prayed. And then there was Sylvia Simon. I'll never forget. She actually became my doctor after that. They had told me I wouldn't be able to have any more kids after the situation. But this doctor ended up sticking with me until I had 2 kids. Just to kind of bring things to light, they basically gave me my death sentence. And for me, I said, get me out of this bed and take me to the bathroom. And I kneeled, I never forget, over the toilet. And I was praying, and I just said, God, if it's your will that you want to take me home, I'm ready to go. If it is not your will, then show me what I need to do to testify about your healing, your grace, and your mercy. He's like, okay, with my stripes you are healed. Take the blood transfusion. So for me, it was a different scenario. So after I went ahead and I took the blood transfusion, my blood it started to coagulate, and it began to clot a little, so I wasn't bleeding out anymore. And it was a very difficult night for me. But ironically, and this is that spiritual relationship, people always talk about light and things like that. For me, it was just a surrounding of what appeared to be white coats and people, and there was another lady in the room with me who, and this is going to religion, and this is not to say anything about anyone's religion. I never want to go on record as saying that, but she was Jehovah's Witness, and then she was a testimony to what occurred, because she said at night, I kept saying, "Don't you see them? They just keep saying, 'With his stripes you are healed,'" which was what I was told.
Wow.
And so the next day she kept saying, "I never had an encounter like that before, because when I woke up the next morning, everything was okay. As a matter of fact, I went home in 2 days." And so you go from what is called a death sentence, a priest coming in to pray. What is it you want me to tell God for you? Because they think you're not going to be here. And then here I am now, 25 years later.
God is good.
Two beautiful children after they said you can't have any more children. God is good. And that's where that spiritual connection is, that you believe that something can't occur that man has said cannot.
That's good. So let me ask you this: for those who may not have a belief system,
Okay.
how can they, what can they do?
Well, here's the thing. Well, for a person that doesn't have any type of belief, you have to ask yourself, well, what makes you hopeful? During the day, what makes you hopeful? During difficult times, who do you turn to? Where do you go for comfort? Where and how do you find a meaning for the purpose in your life? Do you have a tolerance for empathy? Because
That's good.
some people that don't believe, they don't have empathy. There's this wall that's built up that kind of blocks them from loving, or their love is different. But at the end of the day, they have free will. God gives us free will, and at some point, it's again all about what they choose to do. Spirituality is a choice. It's a choice to choose to worship something that's greater than you, your creator. I don't know anyone who's created their own lungs. I don't know anyone who's created their own eyes, or the sunrise or the sunset. So, or even the way the grass comes up in the springtime and the leaves bloom and the flowers. I don't know anyone who's created them in their own might.
Right. Right.
So there has to be something greater, something higher, something more powerful than us, because I can't create a star. I mean, we are starting to go to the moon, but that's by a vehicle. I can't just snap my fingers and I transform and I'm there. But that's where, at some point in an unbeliever's life, because most of us have at some point been unbelievers.
Right.
You're not born a Christian.
Right.
You're not born a Muslim. You're not born of any religion. At some point in your life, you make a choice to follow whatever spiritual religion you choose. So when it comes to unbelief, it's all about, what do you choose to believe?
Okay, so you kind of hit on other religions. So, and do you feel that these practices would help anyone regardless of their beliefs?
Of course, I do, because the thing in most religions is love. That's mostly one of the common denominators.
Right.
Is love. In most religions, that's your common denominator, love. So what did God say he is?
Love.
Love. So if God said he's love, he's still in it. That's
Okay.
the way I look at it. That's why I never have conversations or arguments about religion. Because if you're Muslim and you're saying you still love me, if you're Buddhist and you still love, if you have the capacity to love, God is still in that thing. So when we choose not to segregate,
That's a good one.
when we choose not to segregate and we choose to congregate as individuals, then that way we're not placing judgment. We don't want to judge.
No.
We know what judging does. Judge not in order that you may not be judged. So you
Yeah.
don't want that judgment to come upon you. And when you're pointing fingers, three fingers are pointing back at you. So we don't want to judge. So it all goes back. Spirituality goes back to choices.
Okay.
Do you choose to accept the Father into your heart? Do you choose to accept that there is something greater than me that can help me get through not only good times, but bad times? And you don't want to always call on Him just when things are bad. You want to create that relationship on a daily basis. When you get up, say, thank you, God. Woo, I made it through the night. I have the opportunity to see another day. When your day ends, you thank Him that you lived through that day. When you have food, you thank God for food, because so many people don't have food. They don't have clothes. They don't have transportation. And everything give thanks.
Whew. You kind of hit on the last question, but we're going to take a quick commercial break because we got literally about 10 minutes left. We're going to tap on this last question. We're going to close out.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm so sad because I haven't been here in so long. I really just want to do like a good 2-3 hour show real quick, but I know it's not possible. However, we're going to take a quick commercial break. This is the BTG Morning Show. I am your host, Keisha B, and we will return right after this.
Hi, excuse me, do you have anything for paint?
Straight down that aisle
All
there.
right, thank you.
Young lady, this here's what you need.
Ringmaster?
Ringmaster rubbing oil.
How does it work?
By promoting circulation since 1950. Massage it in for best results.
Ringmaster took care of my back pain.
Ringmaster got rid of my knee pain, too.
Wow, it sounds like I'm late to the party. I'll take one.
Find Ringmaster at CVS, Davis Drugs, and other fine stores.
Have you ever wanted your own TV show? Have you dreamed of showcasing your talent for the world to see? Well, now you can. Have your own TV show. You can have your own 30-minute show. Not only will you be seen in the Detroit area, but you can be viewed worldwide. Be seen on WHPR Detroit Live, Comcast Cable Channel 91, on the web at TV33WHPR.com, with the TV33 app, on Roku, Google TV, Apple TV, and on Amazon Fire TV. Act now. Time slots are limited. Sign up today and get a free replay with the purchase of your time slot. For more information, call 313-868-6612. Visit our studios and receive a free TV interview to promote your business, church, or organization by appointment only.
Want to learn a new skill, a new trade? Stop overthinking and get in a career of professional wrestling. Come to my professional wrestling school at the Missile Dropkick Wrestling Academy at 2025 Middlebelt Road in Inkster, Michigan, 48141. Check out our website at mdwawrestling.com. Sign up today on the website and make your dreams happen.
Welcome back to the BTG Morning Show. I am your host, Keisha B, and I have my sister, Angelia Ross Collins, in studio with me, and we have been discussing spiritual health. I think that this is very, very important, especially going along with the mental and physical health. Those topics we did hit on already a couple of weeks ago, but spiritual health is necessary to keep up. You want to make sure that you stay in a good spiritual well-being. With that said, we're almost at the end of the show, but I do have like one last question.
Okay. I hope I have one last answer.
So, you kind of hit on some questions that we could ask ourselves as far as to gauge our spiritual well-being. But in your opinion, is that something that we should do on a daily basis, or is that something that we should do on a weekly, a monthly? Like, how often do you believe that we should gauge our spiritual well-being?
Well, that's up to the individual, honestly, because everybody's spiritual growth and where they are in their lives is different. So, that's up to every individual. I mean, ultimately, we would hope that your communication spirituality is on a daily basis.
Right.
Because that'll keep you grounded. You don't know what's going to happen to you within a 2 minute time period, less than a 24-hour time period, a week, a day, or a month. So it's up to an individual, but daily communication is always the best practice. According to my values, because like I said, it's up to every individual. Because when you do that, it actually lifts up the burdens off of you. You can manage things that come at you at a better manner. It'll become an attitude versus gratitude kind of thing. So when you're going through certain situations, some things will make you get an attitude. Now, how you going to handle that attitude? Is it a positive attitude? Is it a negative attitude? Is it a uplifting attitude, or is it a deflating attitude? So if you go from dealing with attitudes to gratitude, I'm thankful for whatever.
Yeah.
And when you place that in front of you, spirituality or even individually, that right there can transform every situation and give you a peace of mind.
That's really good. I know me. I've had my times where I didn't do it on a daily basis, and I've had to, and it became more of, I had to get out of the idea of me doing it as what's the term I want to use?
Ritual?
Yeah, like a ritual, but more on a relationship status. I had to take the religion out, so to speak, and turn it into a relationship to where it's more like I'm talking to my best friend or something like that.
Yes.
Because now it doesn't feel like a burden to actually do it on a daily basis. It's more like, what's up, Dad? I'm feeling kind of heavy today. Like, help your daughter out. Things like that, because I know I don't go and sit and be like, all right, thou shall, I kind of talk to, I talk to God like I talk to my daddy. I go at him in the same manner, and I just kind of had that open conversation. And I'm so thankful for my spiritual well-being. I'm so thankful for my relationship, because it has sustained me in such a way that every day I feel good.
And that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be scripted. I mean, I know he said when you enter into the room, enter saying, Our Father which art in heaven. That's just a blueprint on people who are learning to pray. This is how you start out. But as you begin to build a relationship with God, it's more like that. You just talk to him. It's a basic conversation. But when you're having a conversation, you have to also learn one thing: listen.
Yeah.
So many times we pray and then we walk away. A lot of people pray, then they get up. So how are you going to hear the answer to your prayer if you don't listen? So when you pray, like, it's just like a conversation, me and you. We're having a conversation. You say something, I listen. Then you say something, then I say something, and you listen. It's the same thing. You pray to God, you talk, you have your conversation, and then you listen. You listen for the response, because God will definitely speak into your ear gates. If you're quiet, be still, and know that I am God. When you're quiet and you get in your quiet place, you can definitely hear. Some people call it subconscious thought, or, I heard, you're driving. I heard something say. You hear a lot of people say, I heard something say, don't turn down the street. I heard something say, don't do that. When you're listening, that's God speaking to you saying, look, don't turn that way, because if you do, you might go and get into an accident. Or don't do that because you might get hurt. So it's the same thing. He's speaking into our ear gate. So when you pray, then you also have to listen. It's a two-way thing. It's a conversation. It's definite. Prayer is a conversation. So you listen and you wait for the response. And in the response, oftentimes, there's victory. And sometimes he's just like, nope.
Not this time.
Not this time. My pastor just touched on that yesterday. Nope, not this time. And even in that, that's for the best for you. That's how we grow.
Whew. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this show today on spiritual health. And if you missed the physical health or the mental health, the videos are on the BTG Morning Show YouTube page. So you can go to YouTube and type in BTG Morning Show and the videos will pop up. This will be uploaded later on today for playback purposes. So again, this has been the BTG Morning Show. I am your host, Keisha B. I have my friend and my sister, Angelia, in studio, and we discuss spiritual health. Real quick, because we got less than like 30 seconds. You want to give a shout out for your pastor in your church?
Shout out to Apostle West, Dr. West, and Dr. Shante Warren of Elohim Kingdom Ministries. We are based in Taylor, Michigan. Please do come out and support us at 12:30 on Sundays. We're located at 15490 Rocco Road Boulevard in Taylor, Michigan. And on Wednesdays, we're on Facebook for H2O, Water for Life. So shout out to my pastors, and then also, can I shout out Faith Walkers?
Yeah.
And then also to my brand, Faith Walkers.
Faith Walkers.
Faith Walkers, because we have to walk by faith and not by sight. And
whoop, there it is.
Whoop, there it is.
So again, this has been the BTG Morning Show. I am so thankful that you joined in this morning. I will see you next Monday. We're going to start off with the talking to different entrepreneurs that's in the city, Highland Park and Detroit. So stay tuned and catch us every Monday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. I am your host, Keisha B, and I'll catch you next time.